Hello everybody, tonight we're going to show you one of my Nana's recipes. We're going to show you her variant on rice salad. With the rice salad we're also going to have some pork chops and we're also going to have a handful of chips. So this is my Nana's recipe. She's sort of changed a few things in there and taken some out. She showed my mother who showed me. So first we're going to start up the rice. There's 2 cups in here, 2 cups of rice in here. So when we're cooking this, we're going to have to come back quite often, away from the chopping part, to stir it so it doesn't stick, because that would be terrible. And we also have 4 eggs in here. We're going to boil them, obviously. So we'll get that going. So we need salt too. Salt. And the rice, stop any starch and all that. There's salt in the eggs to stop them from foaming up too much. So we're going to use saffron powder in this because it doesn't have a flavour, but it has coloration in it. So it's going to colour the rice to look yellow. So it won't look orange, it will look yellow. We're using Praise French dressing and Praise mayonnaise. We find these are the best items of this for the dish. We have spring onions here. So we have about 5 something there. We've got red capsicum as well as green. So we've got a pretty big green one. So we only need one of them, and we had 2 sort of smaller red ones in there. 4 celery sticks, some diced bacon. You can also use shoulder ham too. But this is just easier and more convenient. And that's about it. So first we're going to start by chopping the celery. Now we don't want to add anything in until we sort of had our rice done, because we don't want saffron, the colour, going through anything else. I'm just going to put it all in this bowl. So I'm just going to cut the celery first. We're going to cut this off because we don't want that in there, so we're just going to move that to the side for now. Sort of chop all these. Roughly about this size. Pieces you can also choose to slice in half if you wanted to. Now we bought a big mayonnaise for the reason that you'll actually need quite a lot of mayonnaise. I'm just going to leave that to the side. So you'll need a lot of mayonnaise because the mayonnaise is what gives it the sort of creamy texture, and it takes the dryness out of the dish. Okay. Cut that away again. There's a lot of chopping involved with this dish, so you think it might get a bit sore. I find that it does sometimes. So just cut all the celery up. But it's a good idea to chop these while the rice. You probably could cook the rice beforehand and start chopping everything, but it's sort of like killing time sort of thing, so you get everything done, and when the rice is ready then you can just chuck it all in. Now this is ideal for summer or ideal for something different. It's fresh, it's nice. You can even take it to family events such as Christmas parties and all that. That's what we did, and it was a big hit there. So if you want to do that, you can do that. So these are all fresh ingredients. These are a bit cold because they've been in the fridge. So just chuck all them in there. Now we're going to get our fork. We're going to stir our rice. Don't want that to stick. Because not only is it hard to get it off the bottom of the saucepan sometimes, we want to use all this rice and not have very much go to waste. So that's sort of getting on its way now. And then we'll come back and we're going to These are known by two names. To some, you call them shallots, and they're also called spring onions. So they have two names. So I always thought this was kind of like hair, and I was like chopping someone's head off when I was younger. I think that's a bit morbid, but so yeah, I remember doing that. So we're going to use the whole lot of this, the whole spring onion, apart from the head part. So roughly, like, this is a bit, they can get a bit hot, so you don't want them like in too bigger chunks. I don't know if it's not worth adding, so I'm just going to leave it to the side. So yeah, depending on looking back on that, like acting like they were like someone getting their head chopped off, that's a little bit morbid, so. Just chop that up like that. I'm just going to put as much as we can into this bowl. It doesn't really matter. But we still don't want any of the saffron affecting anything else if it's going to. Plus we've always added it in with the rice first, so I'm not going to change the way we do things. So we just got a few here to chop. At least these onions aren't ones that sort of burn your eyes. It's something. They are pretty hot when you eat them. But when it's mixed with everything else, like the mayonnaise, sort of dies down the heat of the spring onion. Our rice has started boiling now, so I'm just going to go get that and stir with a fork. Because I do not want anything to stick in there. Now, eggs are starting to get boiling bubbles there, so they're on their way too. Might just get another bowl out just in case. I think we're going to need it. So I'm just going to put all that in there. To the next one. So yes, she's taken a few things out and replaced them with other things, but they all work together. So it's not something that's like that shouldn't be in there. They all work together. So it's an enjoyable dish. And you can pretty much put it with anything you want, because it's that sort of thing that pretty much goes with everything. Like that salad that just goes with everything. So you can put it with steak, put it with chicken, or you can put it with bread and have a sandwich with it. You know, so it's pretty much something that works with just about everything. So it's a good dish. I think this actually might be the last one we're going to put in, because there's a fair amount in there with that celery there. If we feel the need to add some more in after, like it doesn't look like there's enough in there, or it doesn't taste like there's enough in there, we can always add more in the end. And just add a few more of them, and a bit more mayonnaise, and dressing if you want to, feel like there's not enough in there. But I think this will be right. So I'm just going to move that on the side because I don't need that one. So that's the spring onion done. So we're going to cut the capsicum. I'm sort of going to cut around. We don't really want this. We don't want the seeds in there, so we're trying to avoid them. If you get any, you can either rinse it out, or you can even use that because there's no seeds in there. So you can either use the top of the capsicum, you just chop that out. So we just take that out. I think that's pretty easier. So we don't want any of those seeds in there. So we're just going to put that to the side. It's still some in there, so we're just going to run it on some cold water very quickly because we don't want seeds in there at all. So we've got all the seeds out. There's no seeds in there anymore, so we're just going to slice that. Now you can cut these things off. You can sort of cut this off. If you just chuck that aside, there's a seed there. Chuck that away. And there's more seeds there. The process we do is we cut it in strips first, and then we dice it. So you either do it this way. You cut it to about yay thick. Watch the fingers as well, we don't want any accidents. I'm just going to quickly go over to that rice now because I can hear that. And it's not got much water in there either. It's actually soaked in all the water, which is not good, which is why we wanted to watch it in the first place. But I think it's just about ready, so I'm just going to grab some. So that's soft now, so that doesn't need to cook anymore. Yeah, so I think we just caught it because it soaks up water fairly quickly. So we're going to put it in a strainer before we actually put it in there, just in case to get the excess moisture out of the rice. Steam. It's hot. I need a fork somewhere. Grab the fork. Let this cool a bit before we add anything into it. Like we don't want it steaming because we've got to add everything else in. Just gonna put this back on the saucepan so it drains into the saucepan. So that rice is cooked. Now what I should probably do instead of turning that jet off was probably actually move the eggs over. So I'm going to set it back on. Turn these off this line and put them on the higher jet because we need to put them into the salad too. Yeah, so we just slice these into cubes. I just grab them all like that and do it probably quicker. So that's quicker, just doing it like that. Now they just have to be diced. They don't have to be exactly the same size, just roughly around there. Those eggs won't actually take very long now they've been stepped up to the hotter jet. I'm just going to chuck that side. So we're just going to carve out the white part here. And there's two. I actually just cut this in half first so it's easier to get to. So I just slice it like that. You can actually use this too because there's nothing wrong with this. So just dice it as well. So as well as having green, we also have red capsicum. So if you had if only smaller ones are available, you'd get a couple more than what we have. But this was a pretty big capsicum, so we only need one of these. That might actually be enough. We'll just put that aside. I don't mind eating capsicum, so we'll just eat that a little later on. So do the same for the red. We don't want those seeds in there. We might actually just discard that top because that's got that there, and we don't want to waste too much time having to like do all that. So I'm just going to try and see if we can just cut this out so it's easier to get out. Cut it and then pull it. One seed in there. There's only one seed in there. Just get that out, and I can just sort of slice it now. Might just slice that out as well, so we don't want that there. We'll just let them go for a little bit longer. Very careful when sort of doing that because you don't want to actually slip and cut your fingers. So you want about the same amount of red in there as what you've got green, so you want the same amount as that. So you probably need to use all of the red capsicum, or almost all of it. Our rice should be cooled enough now, so we might just go back to that for a minute. Just going to go there. I'm just going to see if that's warm enough now. It's still a bit hot, so just in a few minutes to cool down. So this is a pretty fresh dish, as I said, and it's not too difficult to make. So it's a pretty good dish for summer. You want something fresh, or even if you just want something, you know, new. And if you're sick of eating the same old thing again, this is pretty ideal. Look at that. There are some seeds in there. I'm just gonna try. I reckon they've been on long enough, so I'm just going to turn them off. Now we need to peel these, we're not going to do it straight away obviously because they're pretty damn hot, so we're just going to empty that out with this sponge bit. I'm going to fill out the top one. Move that out of the way so I can move this back a bit. They can just sit there. And we're going to put them there. We're going to come back to them because we can do them last because we've still got other stuff to chop. Well, not really. We have this. We can come back to our rice first before we do that. So our rice should be cooled down enough by the time we finish cutting capsicum. It doesn't look too good on the inside. I don't think we'll actually use that. I'll cut this piece in here that doesn't look too bad, so I'm just going to cut the rest of that out because I don't want anything like that in there. So obviously tonight, because that is actually bad, or no, I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it looks very good and I wouldn't want to eat that either, so we're not going to add that in. So we're just going to cut anything that's not looking like that, so that's pretty much it. So, but since that, I'm going to take that out. We might just use this bit at the top because we want more red in there than what we've got. So we're just going to cut that out because there's actually nothing wrong with this piece. But yeah, it's ideal to have as much red as there is green. But tonight, I don't think that's going to happen. Well, this piece isn't too bad. We'll just see if we can take anything out of there. I think that's it. That's done. So, this is the only piece left that wasn't looking like that. So that'll do. So now we come back to our rice. We're going to need a spoon because we're going to have to mix that in. And it's a bit too hot to do by hand, so we're just going to pour this in our silver bowl here. With the spoon because we don't want anything to spill. So just going to like break it apart a bit because it's been sitting, it's sort of combined a bit. That should be alright. So we're going to cut this. Now we don't need much, we just need enough to make it go yellow. So I'm going to put little bits in at a time. Oh, that might be enough. So it's sort of like a food colouring. Because it doesn't add, I find that it doesn't add flavour at all, so it's just sort of like a dye. See, I don't think that actually will be enough because we've still got white bits. So I might just go some more, but we're just going to wait till we've fully combined it together. So this is just mainly for the coloration. Because it gives it a nice colour. You could leave it white if you wanted to because it just makes the dish look more appealing. So we will probably need the tiniest bit more, not much, because there are still a few white ones floating around in there, so we want them all yellow. So only just a little bit. I don't want to like hit it too hard because I don't want it to come out, but then obviously I'm not hitting it hard enough if it's not coming out at all. I'm gonna like leave that for a little bit here. I'll leave that at that then. Now this should be alright this time. I thought I actually added too much in before, but obviously I didn't. I reckon that should be enough. There are still a few bits of white hanging around, but it's all reasonably coloured, so it's all that yellowy colour there. So we can start adding stuff in, or we could just go back to our eggs. Might just see how the eggs are doing first, because we actually need to slice them. Oh, they're not all enough to peel. It's not peel them. Now they need to be hard boiled for this, so make sure they're on long enough so they're boiled. Hard boiled. Just going to quickly peel them. We can sort of slice this up while we're here. So just slice it, and that's all you need to do to the egg is sort of just slice it like that. So you don't need to take out any egg yolk or anything like that, it's just like that. So we're just going to leave it on the chopping board. I want to move those scissors out. I'm just going to leave this on the chopping board, so I'm going to move it. Just quickly peel all these eggs. I'm just going to put them all together and take them over together. It's probably easier. So I just squish the outside and crack the shell there, and then it just falls away sort of. I find that easier just pulling away pieces because it sort of like unwraps itself. be careful because sometimes it does get stuck to the egg. Just be careful because you want to keep as much of that egg as possible. It doesn't matter if they're split open or like they've got the eggs like cut itself open or something, or the shell or the movement you've just done peeling it makes it have like loss of the outer egg. That's alright, it doesn't really matter. Just want to make sure there's no eggshells on them because that would not be very, very good. So I just want to slice them quickly. So with the diced bacon, that was just more the easier option. You can also go out and buy a shoulder ham, but I didn't feel like I would eat a whole shoulder, like a whole shoulder of ham, so we just got diced bacon. But it does the exact same thing because we're not cooking it; it goes in raw. Then it is technically like ham. So it's not raw because it's ham, but just cooking ham makes it bacon. So just slice all that. So we're just gonna add the stuff we chopped up first here. So we're gonna add this in. We're gonna add it little by little because we want to be able to mix it in evenly. So that should be enough to stir in first, or maybe a little bit more. So we just don't want to like add too much in there at once because otherwise it'll be harder to mix in. Now you can see the colour going on there now, the green's gone in. So just add more of that. And the deep fryer just told me that it's finished preheating. I have to turn it back on so it will heat up the rest of the when we're ready for the chips. I like to keep it preheated, so when we do go to do the chips, we don't have to wait for 20 minutes before it's hot. So just going to mix it in. Next we're going to add the capsicum. There isn't as much as in that bowl, so you can just pour that in. So this has got like lots of different things going on in here, but they all work, so. And it's a pretty filling salad too. So just mix that in. For the mayonnaise, we've got the big jar there, as you've seen earlier. We're probably going to need like 1/2 to 3/4 of that mayonnaise. It might seem like a lot, but for the quantity that we got, so it's not that much. We're going to add the egg in now. There's a lot more green going on because it didn't have that extra red capsicum like we wanted. So it's mainly green, but egg adds some white in there. But these all work together, as I said. So that's all pretty much mixed in there. So now we're going to add our bacon. And you can probably get this in just from anywhere with a deli. We got 500 grams, but we might not need that much. We're just going to see how it goes, and we only need half of that. But we're just going to see if there's enough ham in there as we go. I'm just going to grab a handful first. And let in. It's getting harder to mix because there's more in there. So I'm just going to have a drink. It's just a bit hot. So just mix that in. I might put another handful in, and I reckon that'll do it. Because as you can see, it's quite mixed in. Maybe just a little bit more. So that should actually do it. So that's probably about, that's probably about half of what we started with. So just gonna mix that in. Just gets a bit hard on the arm after you mix this in because it's just the quantity that's in there. So that's mixed in, and what we need to do now is we're going to drizzle some ranch dressing in there. So that should be enough. Now when you do this, when you put the mayonnaise in, you actually need to taste it because you need to make sure that everything's well coated because you don't want it to be dry. So that the mayonnaise actually gets rid of all the dryness in there if you add enough in. So if you think it's a bit dry, just add mayonnaise in if you haven't added enough in. So you always taste it to make sure there's enough in there. Ain't that looking good? Nice and colourful. So here's good. Open this. I opened this beforehand because you didn't need to see me make any funny faces or anything like that or struggle to open it. So we're going to add, we need a lot of this. We do need a lot of this. So when we move on to the pork chops, I don't think I really need to show you how to cook pork chops and chips. You're all knowledgeable people. You should already know how to cook it. So we'll just, when we mix this in and it's all good and ready to go, we'll come back after we cook our pork chops and our chips because you probably already know how to do that. You just don't want to sit there watching me do that. So I'm going to mix that in. It might seem like a lot of mayonnaise, but once it's mixed in properly, it's really not. But it takes away the dryness from the rice and everything and coats everything and everything's nice and moist. I actually don't think I added enough mayonnaise in. I might need to use the whole jar. There's quite a lot of rice in there and quite a lot of everything in there, so. If you heard that cat, our cats are just a bit clingy. They get upset when they haven't been patted for a long time. They're a bit spoiled. So, here, cat. She's probably just brought Mum a present or something like that. She goes and steals other people's clothes to give to Mum. How's that? So, it's pretty thoroughly mixed in. But it's just a bit down the bottom we've got to get to. So, I'm just going to see. That's not even got any mayonnaise on it. So, I'm just going to like try and mix that in a bit more, but I actually think we will need more mayonnaise in there. So I'm going to add some more in. There's not much in there. So I've added a lot of mayonnaise in. What is this? 700 grams. It's probably not something that's probably not good if you're on a diet to have this, but here's a little amount of mayonnaise going in there. So I think that's good enough. I think I've got a spring onion now. I got it out. It's alright. The mayonnaise picked up a spring onion on the spoon, so it came out. There it is. So I'm just going to mix that in thoroughly. My arm's getting sore now. So that actually looks like a lot of mayonnaise. I mean, probably is. You wouldn't need that much mayonnaise, you know, all in one go, but for the quantity, as I said before, it's not really that much. See, there's still some down there. It's still. So just gotta try it. I'm gonna actually get some more. Just get more. So just gonna like put that on there. It's a big bowl. Just give me a second. I'm gonna have another drink. This is pretty tiring. That's my workout done. There's still a little bit to go. So I think that's enough. I'm just going to taste it. It tastes pretty good to me. So we'll come back up when we're ready to dish everything else up, because you should all have knowledge of how to cook pork chops and some chips. So we'll see you soon. Welcome back, everybody. So here is our dinner plated up. So we have our salad here, our rice salad, which was my late Nana's recipe, and we have a pork chop and a handful of chips. So this is, if you want something different on the side or something fresh, this is ideal. So if you found this video helpful or you just liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye!